Your sister's full of life.
She is certainly energetic. Someday her disposition will settle. I hope.
I'm sorry to think of ever changing.
I cannot agree with you there. Marianne's ideals are very romantic, but they tend to discard propriety entirely. Marianne would benefit from a more mature understanding of certain realities.
Do not desire too much. I knew a lady who resembles your sister very much. And her introduction to what you may call realities was very unfortunate. I will not trouble you with the story. Pardon me, but have you dropped this?
Oh, yes.
Well, should I have laundered it?
No, thank you.
I beg your pardon, but you see, it's covered in ink.
Colonel Brandon, please excuse me. May I steal my sister's attention for a moment? Eleanor, I have the most wonderful news. Willoughby has given me a horse! A horse? One which is exactly meant to carry a woman. He will set his room for it immediately.
You cannot afford such a present.
Why not? Eleanor, we shall share its use.
A horse from a strange man.
Young ladies may not accept extravagant gifts from young men they are not engaged to.
What strange man? We are speaking of Willoughby.
And he is very little known to you.
I may not have been acquainted with Willoughby for that long, but no one in the world has ever known me that well, other than him. Well, except for you and Mama, of course.
Marianne, let us not touch upon the impropriety for just a moment. We cannot afford to keep a horse.
Surely we can find the money.
We have just enough money to keep us respectable.
There must be some way.
We must go in for dinner.
Mr. Willoughby, I would like to send you a kind offer. I cannot keep the horse.
But Marianne, the horse is still yours. But I will keep it until you can claim it for your more lasting.
Young men may not call young ladies by their first names.
What's the matter with Brandon?
He left my dinner?
No bad news, Colonel. I hope.
No, ma'am.
But what was that letter?
Merely a little business.
And how did it discompose you so much? Come, let us hear the truth of it. Oh, I know who it is from, and I hope she is well.
Whom do you mean, ma'am?
Oh, you know who.
I'm sorry, ma'am, that I received this tonight. But I'm afraid that it requires my immediate attendance in town.
What can you have to do in town at this time of year?
And I do not mean to break up the party, but I'm afraid I must depart this moment.
Tonight? Absurd. Go tomorrow instead.
I regret that I cannot.
Some people cannot bear a party of pleasure. Can only assume that this colonel invented this excuse to exit a little gathering.
I have no doubt of it.
This is all very unorthodox.
Well, when will you come back again?
I dare not say.
So, the horse is running. You had better change your mind.
It is not in my power. Miss Ashford, might I see you and your sisters in London this winter?
I'm afraid not.
Then I must bid you farewell for much longer time.
Colonel, before you go, do let us know what you're going about.
Goodbye, ma'am.
How provoking.
I can guess what his business is. It is about Miss Williams, I'm sure.
And who is Miss Williams?
She's a relation of the Colonel's, my dear. A very near relation. I will not say how near for fear of shocking you. She is daughter from a woman she is not married to.
Indeed.
It was a great scandal in the county 15-odd years ago. The mother died, I understand, although we can never get all the details. He is very fond of the little love child. I dare say he will leave her all his fortune.
A love child. From old, prim and proper Brandon? What a first-rate hypocrite.
Did Brandon give you any further intelligence?
No. I suppose it must be something he's ashamed of. Well, despite our reduced numbers, we must make ourselves merry. What do you all say to a ramble after dinner? A short, moonlit drive about the country?
Ask Mr. Willoughby and Miss Marianne about drives in the county. Well, I have found you out in spite of all of your tricks. This morning, when we all went driving and you two sped away out of sight, I made my woman inquire of your groom, sir, and I know where you spent the morning.
Yes, out in my carriage.
Yes, yes, Mr. Impudence, and I know where you went to that carriage. I hope you like your future house, Miss Marianne, and I look forward to visiting you at Alnham.
A good trick on us. Willoughby, tell me, have you still got that fine mare?
It's a beautiful house. That's good.
That really is.
Marianne, did you really visit Allenham with Mr. Willoughby?
Yes?
With no other companion other than Mr. Willoughby?
Young people may not be alone with each other unchaperoned.
We did not do anything wrong, Eleanor. Mr. Willoughby has perfect right to show that estate. They will all one day belong to him.
Even if Allenham was one day to belong to you, Marianne, you will not be justified for what you've done.
Eleanor,
Why didn't you tell me?
why don't you talk to me about Edward?
There's nothing to tell.
Well, the same is true for me. We just took a little stroll. Perhaps it was rather ill-judged to go without a chaperone or a formal invitation. Mr. Willoughby wanted to privately show me in. He has the sweetest little garden and a sitting room just so beautiful.
No news
So
of an
many
engagement
lights
yet?
just gazing
Cannot
over
think
us.
why.
It was
He
so
uses her first name quite
Tell
well.
me.
Such an extraordinary silence.
An establishment may not be within his power until he inherits.
He certainly lives expensively. All fame and no fortune, as they say.
But no announcement of their attachment is.
Why such secrecy?
Why such secrecy?
Why such secrecy?
I have such a secret to tell you about Marianne, for I'm sure she will be married to Mr. Willoughby very soon.
Margaret, you said that almost every day since they've met.
But indeed now I am sure they will be married very soon, because he's got a lock of her hair. How do you know? I know many secrets.
Margaret,
I saw him take it! Last night, after tea, when you and Mama left the room, they were whispering together, and he took up a pair of scissors, and he cut off a lock of her hair, and he kissed it, and he put it into his pocketbook. And today she asked to stay home alone, for I'm sure he's visiting with her right now.
Margaret.
It is Mr. Willoughby's carriage outside. I told you he did visit her.
Mr. Willoughby,
Good day.
is anything amiss?
Yes, I'm afraid that there has been a very heavy disappointment. I'm afraid that I cannot picnic with you today.
Then perhaps tomorrow.
You are too good, but I've just received my marching orders. I must conduct some business for my cousin in London.
Her business will not keep you from us for long, I hope.
I'm afraid that Mrs. Smith will only have me at Devonshire once a year.
And is Allenham the only house in the county in which you're welcome, Mr. Willoughby? For shame! Do you really need a formal invitation to visit us here?
You are too good, but my engagements at present, they're of such a nature. It is folly to linger. I must leave immediately.
Margaret, can you please go tell Betsy that Marianne won't be joining us for dinner? please. Do you think they've quarreled?
Oh, Eleanor, why do you always love to think the worst?
I don't. What else could have happened?
It's perfectly obvious. I can account for it.
Can you?
Yes! Mrs. Smith must have invented this business as an excuse to send Willoughby away. Eleanor, what say you?
Nothing. You may be right, Mama.
Your countenance suggests that you think otherwise. What are your conjectures?
I do not mean to cause suspicion, but Mama, I do think it is rather prudent that they conceal their engagement from Mrs. Smith. But why do they conceal it from us?
His entire behavior towards Marianne declares that he considers her as his future wife.
Well, my doubts may soon be undone. If they write to each other, then they're engaged.
Young ladies must absolutely, positively not write to a young man unless they're engaged.
A mighty concession indeed. Gracious girl, if you were to see them at the altar, would you then admit they were going to be married?
Perhaps we should ask Marianne directly if she is engaged.
You may do as you like, but I would find it very ungenerous to ever force such a confidence. I would not ask that question for the world. Mary Ann shall tell you what she will, when she will, however she sees fit.
I've told Betsy. She wants to know if she should send Marianne's dinner up.
Let us practice your French, dear.
Nobody ever tells me anything.
Marianne, are you going for a walk? Shall I join you?
Where would you like to go?
On the downs?
I'm sorry, Eleanor. I want to go down by the lakes.
Marianne, you've ignored everyone all week. Could you please take the air with me just once? The weather's very beautiful today. We never finish reading Marquemont. Perhaps we should put everything aside until Willoughby rejoins us. But it may take many months before he gets here.
Months? No, nor many weeks.
Marianne, have you and Willoughby...
Eleanor, who is that?
Is it Colonel Brandon?
Hello, hello. Yes, it is us. Yes,
Miss
hello.
Marianne, Miss Ashwood.
Good God, Edward, what on earth could have taken you so
Hello,
long?
yes, I'm very pleased to see you both.
This is indeed the greatest happiness imaginable. Have you come directly from Norland?
No, I have been in this area for 2 weeks now, and I've come purposely to visit you.
You've been here that long without visiting us?
I have been visiting some friends near Plymouth.
Welcome! Welcome! Walk back with us. Mom will be so happy to finally see you. Or maybe I should just run ahead and tell her that you're
Marianne,
coming.
wait, perhaps we just walk together.
Sir John, Mrs. Jennings, may I present to you Mr. Edward Ferrars?
Oh, Mr. Ferrars.
Aha, Mr. Ferrars.
What an unspeakable pleasure to meet you, Mr. Ferrars.
Would anyone care for some tea?
I would certainly.
Ferrars.
Is there a new ring on you, Edward?
Yes. No. It is old, that is, but new to me. Recent. Have I never worn it before? Yes.
Mr. Ferrars.
Long yes, sir. Long yes.
Mr. Ferrars, you must dine with us tomorrow night, for we shall be quite alone. The night after, you must absolutely dine with us again, for we shall be quite a large party.
And perhaps we may raise it on to the next week. How long shall we have you in our corner of England, Mr. Ferrars? We have quite a bereft of eligible young bachelors here. However long you remain a bachelor, that is.
Mother. I'm afraid I'm only staying tonight, ma'am.
No!
But not riding for such a short visit.
I see. I suppose suppose you only came for some particular errand?
Oh, I see.
I was in the county, ma'am.
Well, whatever your reason, we must have you stay longer now.
Yes, young man, do not be an idiot.
Stay.
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 Edward, really, you are more than welcome.
Stay.
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 I'm afraid I must attend my mother.
Truly, Mr. Farrar, such a very short visit.
Why come at all?
Really, Edward, it's too ridiculous. You must stay.
I am sorry beyond what I can say, but I must go to my mother.
Well, what are Mrs. Farrar's aims for you at the present, Edward?
Much the same. I am to rise high in the world, but I must have no profession. That would be too common. Given the choice, I should like to find employment in the church, but it is not smart enough for my family. And so, my own nicety, and the nicety of my relations, changed me into what I am, an idle, helpless being.
Come, Edward, such melancholy. Your mother will give you, in time, the financial independence you are so anxious for. How much good may not a few months do?
I think I may defy many months to produce any good to me. What is a man? If his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed, obese no more. That's for Hamlet, Marianne. But perhaps you didn't recognize it because my delivery is so funny.
Oh, I love to be reminded of the past, Edward, and you will never offend me by talking of it.
Well, Edward, I suppose we must bid you adieu. When shall we see you again?
I cannot say.
Please do come soon again, Edward. Please.
Miss Dashwood.
Where is Marianne? Has she run away because we are come?
She's out walking.
Well, leave that work aside for one moment, Lady Industry. I brought you some strangers, Miss Anne and Lucius Neal, who are to stay with us at the park. How'd you like them?
Hush, I hate you.
I met them on a morning's excursion to Exeter and discovered them to be my relations. Yes, the cousins of my cousin. Can you imagine? Naturally, we invited them to stay with us directly. I dare say you could see the resemblance.
Well, they're the sweetest girls in all the world. You must come for a visit tonight. You can't think how you like them. Come,
You must come. What a lovely room. So well appointed.
Indeed.
How do you like your new home, Miss Dashwood? I suppose you were very sad to leave Sussex and that big, fine house of yours when your dad died and you lost all your money?
Excuse me? We were very upset to leave Norland.
And had you a great many beaux there? I suppose your brother was quite the beau, as he was so rich and handsome and... Well, Sir John tells us Miss Marian has a very special admirer. I hope you find someone as well, but perhaps you have a gentleman friend already?
His name is Farrars, but pray don't tell, for it's a great secret.
Farrars? Why, Mr. Farrars. We know him very well.
Anne, we have met Mr. Farrars once or twice at our uncle's, but we have hardly known him well.
Well, I shall not say anything else, not for all the money in the world. I shall go ask Miss Marian about an aria. I'm passionately fond of an aria.
Miss Dashwood, I wonder if I might ask you something rather odd. Pray, are you well acquainted, with your sister-in-law's mother, Mrs. Ferrars?
No, I've never met her. Tea?
Dearest Miss Dashwood, can I trust you?
Pardon?
Can you, would you, keep a very great and grave and important secret if I were to unburden myself to you entirely, would you solemnly promise to never, ever, 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 ever tell anyone what I'm about to say to you now? Mrs. Ferris and I are indeed nothing at the moment, but there may come a time when we may be very intimately connected indeed.
Good heavens! Do you have an understanding with Mr. Robert Ferrars?
No, I have never met him in my life. But I'm engaged to his eldest brother. I say, he never mentioned any hint of it to you or your family. It is a great secret, for I have no fortune, and we fear that his mother may take away all his inheritance if he marries a woman with no money.
I'm sorry, but there must be some kind of mistake. We cannot mean the same Mr. Edward Ferrars.
I assure you, I am not mistaken about the name of the man on whom all my happiness depends. Mr. Edward Ferrars.
We have a 10-minute intermission. There is lemonade, tea, and water outside. And then please come back. 10 minutes.